Hello, we're going to discuss the teaching philosophy and how you create a teaching philosophy. This is important because uh, for most of the jobs that you will be applying for, there will likely be some teaching component. If you are interested in only research only jobs, you will still have to likely teach some courses. So it's always a good idea to have some idea about what your teaching philosophy looks like. So let's talk about creating a teaching philosophy. This is actually one of those things that I learned while I was in my doctoral program, but nobody explicitly taught me. So when I started to teach this course, I really wanted to talk about, how you actually create that teaching philosophy. Um, it's a good thing to start thinking about what your teaching philosophy is right now because you have a lot of examples of instructors. You have a lot of good examples of things that you want to take from your instructors. In our program, explicitly, we have a lot of great instruction because instruction is what we do. We are in a college that is dedicated to education and instruction, and specifically, educational psychologists should understand instruction in even a greater sense, because we take into account motivation, the cognition, and all of the different components of development and everything else that comes into that makes us educational psychologists. So it's good that we start thinking about this stuff now so we can start to create these things. Also, just from a practical standpoint, when it's time for you to start looking for jobs, um, it's too late to start thinking about this stuff. You need to start thinking about this stuff right now. At least I would say put together an outline, start scratching some things on a piece of paper uh, to help you to kind of conceptualize what your philosophy is. All right. So, what is the teaching philosophy? A teaching philosophy is a conceptual thing, but in practical terms, it is a physical document that you will send to individuals, not individuals, but potential employers. So generally, the way it works, and we've talked about this already a little bit, when you apply for a job, they ask for three things: uh, a cover letter, research philosophy, and a teaching philosophy, and CV. So that's actually four things, and then the actual application. So those are the things that you will send in. Um, they want to ensure that the individuals they bring in to campus has a philosophy that jives with the way they conceptualize the program. So that is one of the reasons that it's important for you to have a great teaching philosophy because it is going to matter when it comes to these employers. So talking about the physical document, it's a detailed statement that shows how you conceptualize teaching and learning. It provides a description of how you teach, and it justifies the way in which you teach. So, just like I said earlier, the purpose is to help them understand what your teaching practice is all about. They want individuals who will come in and be productive right away. We talked about it as far as research, how important it is for you to come in and be able to be a productive, independent researcher. But the same thing goes on to be a teacher. They want somebody who's going to be able to start teaching classes and having good, successful discussions with those students, especially if you're teaching doctoral classes. And this is generally the way it works. The higher the level of the student, the bigger the ask is of the instructors. So, say for example, if you're teaching undergraduate classes, the core content is easier. There's a lot of stuff that you may have to do. There's a lot more grading that's required of you, but those things are fairly simple to do. It's easy to grade things. It's easy to give quizzes and things like that. It's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, but it is a lot simpler. As the level of student goes up, the bigger demand because now you're not just talking to students on a weekly basis. Now, especially when you're talking about doctoral students and advanced doctoral students, you're interacting with them quite a bit, and those students are not just regular people. A lot of them have a lot of content knowledge. They have a lot of experiences. They have a lot of thoughtful ideas and things like that. So these are individuals who they come into the program and they are very, very much invested. They are very much invested. We have program advisory committee. We get students from the program, and we never have an issue getting students to help. The reason why is because in graduate programs, you as the student have a lot more buy-in, because if this program is not good, then it is going to have a negative, a very obvious impact on the learner. If the program is not good, not only does it hurt the learner because they're not learning the things, but the pedigree of the degree is worth less. So if you go get a undergraduate degree from somewhere, it's not great, then that is, the employer may not even know. If you get a graduate degree from somewhere and it's trash, guess what? The pool is a lot smaller. And if you get a doctorate degree, the pool is even smaller. And so having a bad degree or having a bad program means a lot more to an individual graduate student. Um, your philosophy documents, they need to be created before you actually need them. So, like I said earlier, right now is the time to at least start thinking about it before you actually apply. You need to create this stuff. The beautiful thing is this last point. These statements don't really change a ton, so they're very easy to maintain. And when you create these documents, it's not like you have to create an individual special one for every institution that you apply for. You create one, maybe you tweak a couple of things. You may be applying for a institution that they say, hey, online learning is a big thing. And if you don't have a section on online learning, guess what? You should probably add one, because that is specific to what they are asking for. And so you have to address that. But in general, these documents are very simple. Your philosophy about teaching will not change so much that it'll make it a big deal.